As MMTLP goes private, buyers might get a 5 to 15x return around mid-December. So should you buy? Sit tight as we answer that by going to recent news as well as my chart analysis and price prediction. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stox 101 for regular stock market updates. MMTLP's assets are estimated to be 3.2 billion oil barrels and 132,000 acres of land, which is not owned but leased. The buyout value for the company's assets is expected to be between $40 to $120 per share, and this is where buyers can benefit. As holders get part ownership of the private company, the current price of $8 might go up by over 500%, and Meta Materials fans are also expecting the price to drop to $7 and then get a reversal to $50 before 12th December. As for the future, eyes are set on Occidental Petroleum, which many hope will take over MMTLP once it turns private. In our opinion, this is a good opportunity for new-gen investors that like to trade risky yet high-return stocks. With all that in mind, let's analyze the charts. So as you guys can see right here, we're now in the one-day chart for MMTLP, and as always, we'll first analyze the one-day chart, then the 1-hour chart, and to end it off, we'll get the 5-minute chart. But right off the bat, we can see that we fell by a lot on on Wednesday's trading session, getting to a price of $8.17. We got a 15% fall, which is again crazy, right? But if we look at the long-term performance, we've gone up by about, well, pretty much, we're already up pretty much 425% in the matter of 57 days, so around 2 months, right? That's great, of course, but how high will the stock go now? I personally, well, I did already tell you that the stock should first come down to the $7 range and then go up to the $50 range. But again, this is not my own analysis, right? This is what most people think will happen. If you ask me, sure, it might go down to $7, right? That seems pretty reasonable, that seems justified, but I won't be hoping for such a large price target such as $50. I'm looking around pretty much the $25 to $30 range. So $25 to $30 range, that would still give me a great return, right? So from $7, I should get at least a 2.5x return up to a 3.2x return. I'm sorry for that. And of course, once the company goes private, right, if you decide to hold on to the stock while the company goes private, we already told you that estimates suggest that the company probably will be valued around $40 to $120 per share, right? And those are, of course, the assets. And once the takeover is done, most of you guys will be able to cash in on that, right? But then again, not financial advice, it's risky. But if you ask me about how we're gonna achieve that, I believe that first we will use today and the next day to stay around this range below the level of $8.2, I believe, right? So around $7, yeah, that's pretty much it. And after that, we should probably go up a bit around here. And once we approach 7th or even 6th December for that matter, or even 5th December for that matter, right? So of course we have only 2 days left for the trading week to close. So I believe that on Monday and following Monday, right after Monday, we should actually start setting path, or rather setting our footsteps in the right direction, going towards the $30 range. And of course, 9th December will probably be one of the biggest squeezes, and the next one would be 12th December, because these, of course, are the key dates that brokerages are giving their what do you call it, clients, investors, right? Brokerages are giving 9th December and 12th December dates as final deadlines for shorts to cover up their positions. And of course, once that is done, we do have around 80 million shorts, right? Around 80 million shares floating in the short interest. So that probably should get back in over here. And once that is done, as I already told you, I can see the stock going up by even like I won't say 100%, right? That's a bit too much, I guess. But I do see the stock going up by 30, 40, or 50% in a single day, which, of course, the day we're talking about should be 9th or 12th December. But there is a small catch to this, right? Once the company goes private, of course, you will cash out, but where will all of that money go in? This is where Mmat comes in, right? So let me pull this out. Of course, we can see that currently we're at a pre-market price of $1.87. Let me clear off all of these drawings, right? But once most of you guys book your profits, right? Once most of you guys close your trades, right? Once you get your returns, I believe that a majority of the people will pour their money back into metamaterials, and that is exactly how Mmat, which is the other company of metamaterials, or rather just the other stock listing of metamaterials, right? I believe it's on the Nasdaq, yup. And this stock will benefit from the entire situation that MMTLP is going through. And if you ask me where this is headed, well, a lot of people are estimating the $12 range, right? So going from the current price, it would probably somewhere around a 500 or 600% return, which I personally believe is justified considering the fact that MMTLP is a much larger ticker than as compared to Mmat. So of course, the profits that would come out from that would be enough to pump Mmat to at least I would say like $5 or $6 levels really, really soon, right? And after that, of course, if they use their resources correctly, if they use, their what do you call it? If they improve their fundamentals, if they improve their financials, of course, I can see the stock getting into a price range of $10 or even $15 if you're talking long term. But then again, I personally would not risk my money up to that level. I personally would rather cash out around $6, right? That still would be almost a 3x return, and I personally am very happy with that. It's a 200% return. I would be very happy with that. So, of course, anyways, if we have to analyze this further, because there is no point in analyzing MMTLP, it's a stock that's meant for a short squeeze, right? So we cannot do anything with technical analysis over there. But for Mmat, we'll have to jump on into the 1 hour chart so we can analyze it further. So now that we're in the 1 hour chart for Mmat, we can see that of course we did take support yesterday around $1.78, right? So of course $1.75 would be a strong support. The entire 1.75 to $1.8 area should be a good support. And right now we're currently at $1.87 after getting resisted yesterday around $1.9, which is pretty obvious, right? It's kind of an obvious resistance. We should probably take support around 1.85 now, and once that is done, we should head back up, right? I do believe that Mmat is a strongly bullish stock. Of course, my opinion, not financial advice. But at the same time, I personally think that it's pretty much like, what do you call that? Tesla or Neo or some of those stocks, right? It has the same caliber as those stocks, right? It can give the same returns as those stocks, even if, the company does not perform well in the long term. So this should be a good opportunity to trade on, to cash on in the short term. But of course, if we want to analyze the stock in proper detail, we'll have to jump on into the 5-minute chart. And now that we're in the 5-minute chart, we can see that the stock, of course, as usual, got really dry volumes on 30th November, right? So we won't be doing candlestick analysis over here, but we can see that, well, first up, we did have a negative trend. And after that, it kind of converted into this small sideways bullish pattern, I would say, right? It just indicates low volume, but we did get a volume of 28,000, which honestly is not that much compared to other stocks. But then again, we're not comparing, right? It is good volume if we talk about Mmat, because we did get some strong volume over here at, what was this? Let me see. This was 12.9 thousand shares traded. So of course, 28,000 shares traded is much greater than that. And if, of course, we move on into the, what do you call this, extended trading hours, right? We'll have to analyze the pre-market as well. So we're currently over here, right? We did fall down a bit in the pre-market, or rather the aftermarket. We went down to a price of 1.85. And as I already told you, I personally don't think it would go below 1.85 today, right? Of course, it might go below that, but I don't believe it will go below that in the pre-market. So that's that. And if I were to give you guys an analysis, or rather a prediction of what's going to happen today, in my opinion, we should start the day off somewhere around here, right? 1.86 or 1.87 itself. Then we should go up a bit. I believe that we should probably continue this bull trend over here. So that is, of course, the greater possibility over here. We will likely get cancelled out around 1.95, or even if we're lucky, we'll probably get cancelled out around $2. But still, that's great, right? If we consider the current price, it might be a good, what do you call this? A good short-term trade. So that you should be able to get a 2 or 3% trade easily during this volatility. But then again, the main problem, of course, for day traders is a volume, right? The stock has dry volumes. Even if you make good money, that's still unrealized, right? And of course, if you have unrealized gains, you will have to get a lot of volume if you want to realize that gain, if you want to close in on that position. And of course, if you do not get the volume, the price will eventually go up and down at at what cost? At the cost of your investment. So that of course is not a good indication, or rather a good sign, right? That's why I personally only trade stocks that have great volume, right? And by great volume, I mean that at least a few $1 million worth of shares traded every single day. That's what I would count as the bare minimum volume, right? That's at least what you should be looking for. And even if we get in the 1 day chart to see the volume real quick, well, why don't I get into 1 week? We can see that on the 1 day chart, our volumes are, even though they're like 10 million, 14 million, right? That's good. But then again, right? Wait, 10 million, so that should be like $10 million of, or rather $20 million, right? But then again, it's a constant buying and selling thing, right? And at the same time, we can see that the volumes on the pre-market, and of course, these times just do not support these volumes. So I personally would rather not go for the stock in the pre-market, or rather, well, why did I say pre-market? In the intraday trading session, I personally would rather avoid these stocks, but I do believe that they're great for swing trading and positional, because then you of course have the advantage of trading at better volumes. But of course, if you ask me, I personally am bullish on the stock, not because of the fundamentals or the financials or because I believe it's a great company. It's only because I believe that, well, once the short squeeze profits pour in, Meta Materials is the stock that would benefit the most, right? And MMTLP, of course, it will benefit as well. But both of these stocks are pretty much interconnected. So, of course, with that, I could be wrong. So remember that this most definitely is not financial advice, and you should always do your own research before you trade. If, however, you enjoyed my analysis, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. You can subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for more such videos. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.